great down here in Tennessee. We don't need y'all to talk about us because we're going to talk about ourselves. We told y'all.
Oh, whoa, Jake. Holy cow, everybody. Welcome into Titans Tube. My name's Justin. This is Jake. We got a spicy one for you. We got a spicy Tuesday recap. What an incredible game. What an incredible finish to the game that was last night, Jake. Titans, Monday Night Football, have not won a road game all season long. Miami has not lost a home game all season long. And what do you know? The Titans flipped the script as they kind of, up until this point, they had a knack for, doing the unexpected and doing what people don't expect them to do. But that's what they did. They got back to their Titan ways last night, dude, and kind of shocked the NFL world, Miami fans, Titans fans, everyone. With that crazy flurry of points going in the final 4 minutes. That's what really everyone's going to be talking about from this game is how that game finished. What was it, like 4 touchdowns scored in a little over 4 minutes? It was insane. But the Titans get an unexpected win on the road against the Miami Dolphins, 28-27, Jake, to pull to 5-8. Still, I mean, I don't care. I'm hungry for a win, Jake, and that was so exciting. And it's especially exciting from the perspective of Will Levis and bringing him along, having him develop, and going through these ups and downs through a season, but then having some crazy success in this game. I believe he's the first rookie quarterback to ever throw for 300 yards on Monday Night Football, which is a surprising stat. I feel like somebody would have done it by now. But anyway, so Dolphins take a tough loss. If I'm a Dolphins fan, I'm pissed. There is no reason why they should have lost that game and fighting for a number 1 seed in the AFC. But what a game. What a thrilling, exciting game. Really does the fan base here some good here to see the Titans take a W here. So yeah, Jake, welcome in. We enter. We've been in December. This is the second game in December now, but yeah, last month basically of the season, and the Titans still fighting, man. What'd you see in this game?
Absolutely, you dropped the 5-8. The Titans improved to 5-8. I mean, we talked about this a little over text last night. Record be damned. F the draft, man. Forget that shit. Like this win meant more, as a symbol, of this Titans team moving forward, as a reason for optimism moving forward. And this was your proof of concept game for what the 2024 Titans could look like. And I mean, it was a historical comeback. Next Gen Stats had our win probability all the way down to 0.4%. It was the second most improbable win in the Next Gen Stats era, Justin. Everybody's seen it now by this point, but the Titans, only team in NFL history to trail by 14 with under 3 minutes left and win without overtime. The Texans pulled it off in overtime in 2016, but this is the first time a team has won trailing by 14 as late as the Titans did last night in 767 games, Justin. That is a lot of football games where the team that is trailing by 2 touchdowns late does not win. And I mean, knowing this Titans team going down 2 touchdowns with 5 minutes left, it was over. It was over. I mean, considering, change in volume to that Packers-Giants game, or, just not turning it off altogether. And I'm sure there were plenty of Titans fans who turned that game off, left the stadium if they were at Hard Rock, and they missed.
They probably woke up. They probably went to sleep and woke up today just now finding out. Like, what a surprise.
28-27. Unbelievable. And you mentioned it. It was huge for Will Levis, the Will Levis era. I have it brought up. I need to read this DeAndre Hopkins quote, Justin, from his post-game interview. DeAndre Hopkins, when asked when he saw when asked what he saw in Will Levis after the game, I saw a dog. I saw a dog out here today. That kid is going to be great, man. I'm always in his ear trying to help him read defenses and be better. I know he's still got a lot left in his tank. Even though he came out here and beat these guys today, I'm still going to be on him when we go back and let him know that there's certain things that he can improve on. But man, Will showed heart, and I love competing and playing with him. That is an incredible endorsement from a Hall of Fame wide receiver who's having an impeccable year for the Titans, Justin. He might eclipse 1,000 yards, and we needed this kind of spark and optimism and endorsement of Will Levis from a guy like DeAndre Hopkins. It is huge going forward. Unbelievable game. There's just, you said it, we got a spicy one today. Who knew that this Tuesday recap would be this smiling and optimistic and hopeful going forward under the Will Levis era? And that quote to me, Justin, says DeAndre Hopkins might be interested in coming back next season.
Yeah.
And if the Titans don't win that game last night, you don't get that quote, you don't get that endorsement, and we're unsure what the future looks like for this offense. So unbelievable turn of events in such a short amount of time last night to reinvigorate a fan base, reinvigorate the team. And I think these dudes care. There's a lot of guys in that locker room who do care. When you're looking around, I've mentioned it the past few weeks, we're looking for guys who want to be here. D-Hop sounds like a guy who wants to be here, Justin, and he likes Will Levis as his quarterback. So we'll see.
So tell me, what is the contract situation from DeAndre Hopkins? Because we have to bring him back. We absolutely have to. He has been so clutch for this offense, and more importantly for Will Levis's development, his rookie season. Who would he be throwing to if we didn't get that late offseason signing? Nick Westbrook-Akina and Chris Moore and the Traylon Burks, who can't stay on the field, who keeps getting hurt. I mean, he would just be, not really progressing without DeAndre Hopkins. He's making so many plays for this offense. So is it a 1-year contract? Or
I just did a quick Google for you. A 2-year contract is when he signed with Tennessee. So
there's nothing that he can do. Unless he demands a trade for whatever reason. But he is. Can we release him? I don't even know. I think so. Well, I don't know why we would.
It's how NFL deals work. It might be year 1, guaranteed, where year 2 has kind of an option. But with what we're seeing out of D-Hop, I mean, last night 7 catches, 124 yards, 1 touchdown. He's trending to be a 1,000-yard receiver. Who would have thought in their wildest dreams when we signed DeAndre Hopkins he would go for 1,000?
Yeah, I wasn't sure what we would get, especially knowing how this offensive line and especially when Tannehill was starting to really regress earlier this year and getting hurt. Dude, as much as we love Derrick Henry, I feel like DeAndre Hopkins is the MVP of this offense. This offense would be a huge step, 2 steps behind what it is right now, and it's not even that great. Though with DeAndre Hopkins in the lineup, he adds that element, dude. Just making plays all over the field, dude. That deep shot right before halftime, just his. I don't know how he gets away with it. I mean, it looks like he doesn't look like he's really doing much, but I guess if you slow the replay down, he's kind of holding a hand down, dude. He's an artist. I mean, you could call it cheap or whatever, but dude, it's an art form, and he has perfected that where he just has this knack for making a play. There's no reason he should have caught that pass. It was just vintage DeAndre Hopkins falling backwards and then just putting his hands up and the ball falls in his lap at the last second. Dude, I love DeAndre. I've got to get a jersey. I got to get DeAndre Hopkins in an Oilers jersey, which we're going to see coming up next week against the Houston Texans. But whew, man, what a game. What a performance. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I would love to talk about DeAndre Hopkins for the rest of the episode, but we can bounce around as well. I mean, the defense, who would have thought, showed out with no Jeff Simmons, no Christian Fulton, who's kind of up and down, but when he's good, he's pretty solid. We were missing somebody else on defense too, I thought.
Tart was questionable, but I'm pretty sure he suited up.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, the defense did everything you wanted them to do last night. I mean, they only gave up, if you take away the turnovers in that football game that the Titans gifted the Dolphins on those drives, like the Dolphins scored like 6 offensive points. I mean, they had so many drives inside the 10, first and goal to go, where they held them to a field goal. And that, I mean, our red zone defense has been tremendous all year long, but it was exceptional last night. Yeah. And, I mean, put those Dolphins on fraud watch, Justin, because once Tyreek Hill exited that football game, it was the tale of 2 offenses for the Miami Dolphins, and they looked like the hapless Tua turn the ball over Dolphins that we saw, in the early career of Tua. And, with Tyreek Hill, Tua's been an MVP candidate. I'm not, no disrespect to Tua, but I mean, it was night and day with number 10 on the field for the Dolphins and number 10 off the field for the Dolphins. And I mean, unbelievable job by the defense getting pressured. Danico Autry continues to show up and make plays. Harold Landry has a sneaky 8.5 sacks on the year. Justin, doesn't seem like that, but that's unbelievable. I mean, once this defensive line can get all back and healthy, I mean, I know we're talking about proof of concept 2024, but I don't know what Danico Autry's contract is looking like, but he's going to have to come back because all the dude does is make plays, block field goals, swat pass attempts, get sacks.
Has to, what is the NFL record for most blocked field goals slash extra points? Because I think he had 6 or 7 coming into this year or something dude, he has to have double digits over his career in blocking those. That is a very difficult play to make. And he's, for some reason, he has that knack to make that happen. And when it's a 1-point game, at the end of the day, you can look at any little thing and say, man, if only that went our way or that went our way. Well, we needed that block really to help secure or come out with a win in this game. So just an amazing, just an amazing defensive performance. And I don't want to take that away, but I think we should mention Mike McDaniel, what was exactly were they doing, especially in the red zone? Dude, the running game was kind of working, and that was scaring me. Mostert ran well. Achane had some nice runs as well, and they kept passing the ball, even with Tyreek Hill out. So that helped us. That went in our favor, and then they had to settle for some field goals and this and that. But all that set aside, I mean, the Titans never stopped fighting in this game, and I mean they could have folded after the Guerrero punt return. Dude, I am so tired of this returning unit and this inability. I don't know how many punts we've dropped this year. I mean, I think Phillips has at least 2.
Even going back to last season,
has 2 or 3. Yeah, we can't get a guy to field a punt. Where's that Kearis Jackson dude we saw in preseason from Georgia? Yeah, I liked what he was doing. He didn't drop a punt in the preseason. I guess he's still hurt. I think he's on the team though, maybe the practice squad, but I don't know. And then the bad pitch. I mean, Will Levis, growing pains, tough pitch back to Henry. But dude, he still did not flinch. And scoring just the 2 quickest touchdowns I've ever seen. On top of that being an amazing 14-point comeback with 3 minutes to go, we did it so fast that we still gave the Dolphins the ball back with 1 minute and 49, which is plenty of time for that offense to go down and at least get a field goal. It was that quick. That was a minute and a half, 2 minutes where we scored 2 touchdowns with a 3 and out sandwiched in between on the defensive side. I mean, that was just the wildest, quickest flip that I've ever seen. But yeah, what an exciting way.
Unbelievable. There was a great Vrabel quote in his presser after, and I think he said this before after one, but he's like, it doesn't have to be this hard. I mean,
the locker room.
Look at that
locker room speech. Yeah. And everyone started laughing.
It doesn't have to be that hard. And I mean, it was a 13-13 ball game, Justin, with 5 minutes left in the game. The Titans are getting the ball back, and they ended up going down 14 and making that deficit up to win the game by 1, all within the 5-minute stretch. I mean, that is insane. You can't write it that way. You're good.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interject once again. But how about Vrabel? After the first touchdown, going for 2. I mean, I know a lot of times I like to play it kind of safe. And I'm not as much of a risk taker just from my, perspective. And I know I can be wrong about that in a lot of cases. But Vrabel has had a lot of moments this year where we thought he was being way too conservative, whether it's not going for it on 4th down, settling for a field goal, punting for it around midfield, and we maybe think we should go for it, this and that. But he pulls out the risky, aggressive take and decides to go for 2 right there to make it a 6-point game, and it ended up working out. So so props to Vrabel for kind of getting back to that aggressive, we're here to win mentality. And hey, it worked out, and I think the players love that and appreciate that, and they love to see it work. Great locker room stuff right there.
Absolutely. I mean, everything about last night was great locker room stuff and great.
Yeah.
Just, I mean, God, did this team need something like this to happen? A miraculous comeback, 0.4% chance of winning and having that turn and go back in your favor. Mike Vrabel going with the analytics call. They made a big deal about that. So spreadsheet nerds rejoice. Mike Vrabel has read the Excel doc and he is going for 2 in that situation. I'm with you, Justin. I probably would have kicked it. And I said, well, hell, we're not going to get the other touchdown anyway. Who gives a shit? But like, oh my God, the fate, just everything about it makes me giddy to be a Titans fan, excited to be a Titans fan again, because, it doesn't have to be this hard. It really doesn't. I mean, field a punt cleanly, make that pitch cleanly. And I mean, the Titans had they ended up winning the game, but you have such a better shot at winning that game down the stretch. You played such a great, disciplined, tough game. Your defense showed up, allowed the Dolphins to 13 points all game, and 7 of those came off a pick 6 on your own 5-yard line.
Yeah.
So unbelievable performance from this Titans that could have been spoiled by 2 brutal back-to-back turnovers, but it wasn't. And oh my God, we can win a football game. It can be this way, And so just moving forward, I mean, just fix the offensive line, get a guy who can field a punt. Justin, the Titans might be in business. I'm not saying this season, obviously, at 5-8, you're all but eliminated. But unbelievable. What an unbelievable turn of events. What a turn of heart. What a change of mindset.
Like, hey, we are the team to beat in the NFL, Jake. I don't know if you've heard, but the Dolphins put up 70 points earlier this year, and this defense gave up 2 field goals, I guess.
Yeah.
If you really break it down to what the defense actually gave up. But yeah, speaking on not making it so hard on yourself, dude, and going back to last week, can we not give up 2 straight punt blocks, dude? That's what makes this one kind of hurt a little bit, is we could have easily won that game against the Colts if we did not beat ourselves on special teams. And we would really be in the thick kind of this wild card race. And then out of nowhere, we would be in the thick of the playoff race in the AFC. And trust me, I went back and crunched some numbers because I'm a stats nerd. And I think even if we went out, we still would only have like a 15% chance of making the playoffs. There are so many dominoes that have to fall into place for that to even happen. So it's very, very difficult to see that taking shape. But if you want to move on a little bit to the outlook of the future, I mean, you look at this team in this season, and there are games where it's like, wow, we need to just clear house and just completely rebuild from scratch. This team looks awful. You look at the first Jacksonville game, or we had a horrible game against Tampa Bay, or at least on offense. There's in Cleveland, I mean, what was that, 27-3? There have been some games where it's like, we are literally a bottom 5 team. It's going to take a while for us to get back. But then, I don't know, you kind of look at these other games, and we have a lot of one-possession losses. You got both Colts games. You got the Steelers on Thursday Night Football came down to the last possession. You got the Saints game where Tannehill throws 3 picks and we lose by 1 point. And I mean, I don't know. And then you look at us this year, and you like the promise that Will Levis is giving you. You've got a 1,000-yard back, a double-digit touchdown runner in Derrick Henry, who yet again has officially had double-digit rushing touchdowns for like the 6th or 7th straight season. I don't know who holds that record. I don't, probably Barry Sanders or Emmitt Smith. One of those crazy.
I think he's in a group of 6. It's another one of those lists where it's all Hall of Famers plus Derrick Henry. Yeah.
Which will all be Hall of Famers at some point. Just give him enough time in retirement. Well, yeah, Derrick Henry, Hall of Fame ballot. Let's go. You got DeAndre Hopkins, dude. These guys might hit 1,000 yards with still like 3 games left. They could both go over 1,000 yards for the season by next game. I think Derrick Henry would have to have like 170 yards or something. It'd have to be a big game. But anyway, And on the defensive side, you got two guys that are probably going to end up at the end of the season with double-digit sacks with Autry and Landry. And Simmons is having a great year, too. He doesn't have
Absolutely.
as high sack numbers, but he's still a stud, one of the best in the league on the defensive line. Alshire is putting up a great season in his first year here. But, yeah, dude, like, get us another cornerback, a safety to complement Hooker, offense, build up the line. And I feel like we have a squad. It's so funny to see just one game kind of change the complexion of what kind of team you have.
Yeah.
But it doesn't feel that far off, really. You got to have to balance the aging Henry and Spears. Spears, dude, what a great game receiving out of the backfield that he had. Great pickup. Turning out to be a really good draft class. We were desperately needing a good draft class from Rand Carthon. And Skronsky, I guess, yeah, he is good. He hasn't given up a sack this season. I think is still like the good stat with him. Or there might be one in there, but it looks like a great pick. And then obviously Levis and Spears, two excellent top, 3 first-round picks that'll look to serve us, in the long term in the coming years. So, are we that far off? Hopkins, of course, isn't getting any younger. You would like to get another receiver. I hate to say that because we've got Burks, dude. I saw him out there, and it's like, oh, yeah, number 16, Burks is healthy and in the lineup. I think he had 1 carry and 1 catch on the game for negligible yardage. So what do you do with Burks? I think he's still on his rookie contract, so he'll be back. But, you kind of look at these guys and these players that we have and the production that we're seeing, and you like it. You clearly have some pieces that you need to be filled and upgraded, but we could be right back in contending for this division by as soon as next year with as much draft capital or free agency cap space. Thank you, that we have on top of probably getting a decent draft pick, unless we keep winning, which I'm still all about. bring on the wins. You can't measure what winning does to like a team culture and locker room. I still think there's a lot to be said for winning games as opposed to tanking or whatever. But anyway, I'm going on a long-winded rant just to say that after this game, and then looking at the stats across the board, and we've got some studs on both sides of the ball, and it doesn't feel like we're that far off. If we have another strong offseason, this team could be right back into contending for the AFC South.
I have to agree with you, Justin. With that cap space, with the draft capital, as you said, the cavalry could be coming sooner than you think. Let Rand cook, and if his first draft class, as you said, is any indication, this team could be back in the saddle. Hopefully, Jacksonville's no world beater, dude. And I don't think anybody in the division is. CJ Stroud slipped against the Jets, had a really ugly outing, kind of came back down to earth. It's a young man's division in the AFC South, and I'm glad that we have a Will Levis who, every single week I feel gains a little bit of confidence here, a little bit of confidence there, despite the mistakes, despite the ugly games. You see progression from him week to week and week to week to week. And dude, his let's go, popping a blood vessel in his neck and forehead.
Flipping and flopping.
When have you ever seen a Titans quarterback with that kind of fire? You have not. I feel like
Never.
I've mentioned this, in videos past with Will Levis. Ryan Tannehill, despite being a good leader, I think Ryan Tannehill was a great franchise quarterback for the squad. You never saw that emotion from him. And you sure as hell didn't see it from Mariota or, Jake Locker here and there, but he didn't stay on the field enough to even show that emotion. Vince Young going back to Steve McNair. I don't know if he was as fiery. He played as
Not
fiery
like
as
that.
Will Levis,
No.
but
he had the thing.
Yeah.
That was a celebration. But it's a rare thing to see from any quarterback, I think, for it to be to that extreme.
Correct.
He was hyped like crazy, and that's kind of a rare thing. There's quarterbacks out there that get excited like that. You have Lamar Jackson. The punt return, there was a shot of him on the sideline. He's running up and down the sideline going crazy. We're just not used to seeing that, especially as Titans fans, because not that there's anything wrong with it, but different quarterbacks can have different demeanors, and you can have calm and collected kind of leadership. Like Russell Wilson, I guess, has kind of always been like that, or who else, like an Andrew Luck. Like, yeah, they would get excited, but it was kind of calm and collected.
Subdued.
But Will Levis is out here pumping fists and smacking guys on the back and shaking
Dude,
hands and all that.
I love it.
Great.
I mean, when you're 5-8, you have to have somebody bringing that juice. Like, I mean, just to even compete and get up for these games. And
Yeah.
I love to see it. You can go back to our draft video. I didn't want Will Levis. And, I'm gladly eating crow week to week, as he puts together some highlights and packages. Dude, he's going in there trying to truck Jalen Ramsey.
Oh,
And I mean, awesome.
Fire me
awesome,
up.
awesome. Fire us up, Will. I love to see it. And God, if it's any indication, I mean, we could have a squad next year in the coming years, Justin. Will remains to be seen. We have to pump the brakes. It was only a 1-point win. I mean, granted, 14-point underdogs, down by 14 with a few minutes left. We're just excited here at Titans too, Justin. Who would have thought this Tuesday recap would be this exciting and this revved up? I'm gonna be like Chris Farley, pretty new pet, Yeah.
Good reference. Dude, yeah. It's exciting. And it makes kind of the rest of these games that we have left on the schedule, it's going to be interesting and fun to watch to see if this team does keep getting better. And we do keep kind of competing. And I mean, Miami on paper is the best team we have left on the schedule. We have Houston twice. Next week, we might get a Houston squad without CJ Stroud. I was looking at their roster from last week. They suffered a lot of injuries. That Nico Collins, who's already surpassed 1,000 yards for the season, went out with an injury. Obviously, Stroud is in concussion protocol.
Really? I did not see that.
Yeah, Stroud went out with the concussion. I don't know how late in the game it was. But yeah, he was struggling before that. It was like 10 for 23, something like that. Didn't even put up 100 passing yards. So the Jets defense is pretty legit. So they had his number in that one. But I mean, even if he comes back, I mean, the way our defense played against Miami, I mean, CJ Stroud, it's very early to say this, but he might be on a tier above Tua. I mean, he has Tyreek Hill, so that's always like a thing people can point to. But yes, I mean, CJ Stroud looks to be the real deal. But hey, this defense really shut down that Miami offense. So if they can come back a little healthier, maybe get Fulton back. I don't know if Simmons is expected to come back. Then I think this team has a chance. And I hate to say that because, dude, there's some terrible voodoo against the Titans when the Texans have come to Nashville the past few seasons. We play the biggest duds in the world. Even when we are like the number 1 seed in the AFC, they will come to Nashville and beat us. They beat us with like Tyrod Taylor. They one time they beat us when we
Jeff
Willis.
Davis Mills.
Yeah, Davis Mills. Was he the quarterback who came in and beat us last year or 2 years ago? I don't know. I feel like they've beaten us in Nashville like 4 straight times. So we got to end that streak. But anyway, so we got those 2 Houston games. We have Seattle. Not sure what to make of that game. I mean, I haven't watched a lot of Seahawks. They're another middle of the road 500 team. And then, of course, we end against Jacksonville at home. And who knows if they'll have something to play for. So it'll be a very interesting last 4 games of the season. And I mean, all you want to see, I mean, if we are going to be eliminated from the playoffs, you still want to see like improvement, development, something to look forward to from next year. Chemistry between Will Levis and Hopkins and these receivers, gelling on the offensive line, even though we're probably going to move on from a lot of these guys on the O-line. But yeah, I mean, just trying to find silver lining in a disappointing lost season. But it's good to have something to feel good about. It's good to have, up until last night, I thought like our signature, that was a fun win thing was like the Oilers jerseys when D-Hop went for 3 touchdowns, the Will Levis debut. That was all we would have to look back on and smile on for this year. But no, I think we have a new one with this crazy win on the road, this comeback in prime time, Monday Night Football. Kind of takes the cake as this is the highlight game of the season so far.
100%. 0.4%, Justin. It's the 3rd time I've 0.4%. That game
so you're
was
telling me there's
over. Yeah, exactly. It's never over. It's never over. And sometimes you need the reminder of that and, the slap in the face to not turn off the TV. And this was a slap in the face to fans everywhere. It's never over, even if it's 0.4%. Never over in the NFL. Justin, and talk about a signature win and giving everybody juice and silver linings and looking back on things and looking forward to the rest of the season. As somebody who's about to make a 5-hour drive down to Nashville to watch the game with you next week, dude, I mean, I am ready to go. I mean, there's gas in the car already. I'm ready to come down and start tailgating on
You still
Tuesday.
have like 4 days. You might have to restore. Yeah. You wanna go.
But man,
Dude, I'm
what
so
a
excited.
pumped up atmosphere I think it's going to be in Nissan Stadium.
Yeah, it's gonna be. Yeah,
Oilers
this
weekend.
win will put. This win is going to put butts in the seats. I think this win alone is going to make fans want to come to this game and see the Titans play at home. Especially, and they were already probably going to come for the Oilers jerseys because that's a cool appeal. But coming off a big hyped win like this and seeing Levis and Hopkins both ball out, like it's going to be a bigger hyped atmosphere. And dude, I'm so glad we're going to be watching this together. So man, hopefully we can snap that terrible Texans curse because you were here last year when we started Malik.
Jacksonville. I came for the Jacksonville game.
Jacksonville game.
They lost by 2 touchdowns. It was kind of the Trevor Lawrence coming out party as they turned the table on it. And it was like first.
Yeah, thinking of another season. That's right. Yeah, okay. It's coming back to me. Yeah, that was a terrible game. Jake, we better win, or you're not coming back to any more.
Yeah,
games.
I know. I'm 1-1 with you, Justin. I'm 1-1. Let's try and get that above 500 this coming weekend. Do you have anything to take us to the barn, man, on what has been an exciting Tuesday recap for Titans Tube this week?
I don't think so. I don't know if we're missing any like stats or shout outs. Maybe not. You can leave us a comment. But yeah, dude, just excited. I'm so glad to have this win and to have this crazy game that we can talk about and then look forward to the rest of the season with. But yeah, man, excited to have you down. Hopefully we can show out again in our Oilers jerseys and have a good time. And we're just tightening up. We're tightening up hardcore right here. So
big hardcore.
We got back to you, Jake, if you want to close it out, if you have anything more.
Like, comment, subscribe. Shout out Spears. Shout out Chris Moore, always catching one good long ball a game. I'm just looking down the stat sheet to make sure we didn't forget anything. Chigakonkwo, 5 catches, 46 yards. Welcome back to the offense.
Hello.
Nick Westbrook.
Is Landry officially back? I know that Tua kind of ran into him in the backfield a couple times, but 3 sacks in one game, and we did mention his 8.5 sacks, but big shout. Good to see Landry back piling up some sacks.
Absolutely. Love it. Spears over 100 yards total on the game. He is the future.
Yeah.
Love it. Like, comment, subscribe, all that jazz. Tighten up, and we will see you next week.